I'm afraid I'm not a trainer, young lady. I am merely a collector.
Do you want a Pokemon challenge harder than any Pokemon challenge you've ever taken on? What's that? Professor Oak wants you to go out and research 151 species of Pokemon? That's cute. I want you to play every single Pokemon game that is available to you, every accessory, every spin-off that can transfer to the main series, and I want you to create a Pokedex, not just a living Pokedex of one of each Pokemon, but a Pokedex involving the hardest to catch Pokemon from each. I know what you're thinking. Toby, I have a life, I have a job, I have commitments, I have loved ones. I need to spend what little time I have on this earth with them. No, you don't. You need to play Pokemon. Now, I know that might sound a little exclusionary. Maybe you don't have access to all of the games or the time or a trading community. And to you, I say, well, in that case, this challenge isn't for you. It doesn't need to be completed immediately, but I know when I completed my LivingDex when X and Y came out, I felt a great sense of boredom. I needed a challenge for the long term, and that's what this is. This challenge is supposed to take you several years. In fact, I am giving you until the end of Generation 9 to finish this version of the Pokemon Home Master Challenge. This may in fact be the last version of the challenge, with the Nintendo 3DS eShop closing later this year, and we don't know what's on the horizon past Gen 9. Gen 10 is probably going to be on a brand new console, so a lot will change, and this may be the last time you can do a Pokedex like this. But to help you out, there is a trading community over on my Discord server, which is linked below, as well as the incredible mods who came together to help make a spreadsheet so that you can follow along. The spreadsheet makes things very straightforward, and the community is there to help you out with any trading along the way, and it's also very dynamic in case anything new just comes out that we don't expect. And this video is to act as a full set of rules covering everything from Generation 1's Kanto region all the way up to the region of Scarlet and Violet. So, here we go. Here are the rules for the Pokemon Home Master Challenge. The full list of what you're going to need includes a Nintendo Switch to play the Switch Pokemon games on, a 3DS to play the 3DS Pokemon games on, a Nintendo Wii to play the Wii and GameCube Pokemon games on, and you're probably going to want a DS or DS Lite that has a GBA slot in it so that you're able to play the Game Boy Advance games. Having this combination of technologies, as well as the Poke Transporter, Pokemon Bank, and Pokemon Home softwares, are going to allow you to trade and transfer between all of your copies of Pokemon to transfer this living Pokedex into Pokemon Home. So far, so good. Also, if you want to do the challenge to your entirety, you'll need a couple of accessories, the Pokeball Go Plus and the Pokewalker from the Heart Gold Soul Silver era, and of course, you're going to need a mobile phone capable of playing Pokemon Go. You're going to need to download Pokemon Go, and on top of that, you're going to need access to all of the Pokemon games. So let's start with Virtual Console Red, Blue, and Yellow. So your first 151 Pokemon, that's everything from Bulbasaur to Mew, are going to want to come from the Virtual Console copies of Red, Blue, and or Yellow. You can get these on your 3DS, and again, the 3DS eShop is going to be shut down sometime next year, so make sure you download these softwares now, and then you've got them forever. Even if you delete the software, you should be able to re-download it down the line. However, I say the first 151 Pokemon, there are going to be some exceptions, but I will get to the exceptions a little bit later. Similarly, all the Pokemon that originate from the Johto region should come from Virtual Console Gold, Silver, or Crystal. The Gen 3 Pokemon should come from Ruby, Sapphire, or Emerald, and if they add a digital version of these games on the Nintendo Switch eShop at some point, then I will absolutely include those in replacement for these, because they're easier to get hold of, but you're still going to need the physical cartridges because they're relevant to other parts of the challenge. We'll talk about it. Unless stated otherwise, all the Sinnoh Pokemon must come from the original Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, not Legends Arceus, not Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, or from Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, unless I am about to say otherwise. All of your Unova Pokemon from Black and White and Black and White 2, all the Kalos Pokemon from X and Y, all of your Alola Pokemon from Sun and Moon and Ultra Moon, and all of your Galar Pokemon from Pokemon Sword and Shield. Where else would they come from at this point? Well, I suppose you could get them in the Scarlet and Violet region when that comes out, but for now, and for this challenge, they have to come from their original region, from Galar. And for the few extras, let's not forget Meltan and Melmetal coming from the world of Pokemon Go, as well as all of the new Pokemon introduced in Legends Arceus coming from their native Hisui region. Now, that on its own might seem like enough of a challenge to you, but this is only where we're getting started, because this challenge also needs to include all of the forms of various Pokemon. Take a look. So you see how my Charmander has the little Virtual Console logo on it? Yeah, so do all of my Kanto Pokemon, apart from a couple of exceptions, which I'll get to in a little bit. But on top of that, it's not just one of every single Pokemon, and I know there was a little gap there, ignore that for the moment. It's not just one of every single Pokemon. When you get to the end of the Pokedex, we start looking into all of the forms of different Pokemon. And not just the forms, yes, all the alchemies, but also gender variants. Look at all of these gender variants. That is, I think, a little bit too much. So these Pokemon don't need to come like specifically from, say, the virtual console versions of the regions. Instead, here you can see this Pikachu has come from Kanto, and so is this one, but they don't have the virtual console logo. That's because they possibly came from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, or perhaps they came from Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. As long as the ones from Kanto read that they've come from the Kanto region, and the ones from Johto read that they've come from the Johto region, then that's absolutely fine. We're a little bit more liberal with the forms and the gender variants. However, as I mentioned, there are some exceptions to the rules. The first one is on this first page. This Pikachu says that it came from the Sinnoh region and that it had a fateful encounter. That's because this Pikachu, with the original trainer name Poketopia, came from Pokemon Battle Revolution for the Wii. Like I said, we're looking for like the most special and treasured Pokemon, and this Pikachu is one of 3 Pokemon you can actually transfer from Battle Revolution and get it into Pokemon Home. So your Pikachu has to come from Battle Revolution. Your Raichu must come from the Alola region. Notice how it's a regular Raichu, not an Alolan Raichu, and specifically this is the one that's gifted to you as a Pikachu that knows Surf for completing the Mantine Surf challenge in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. This Jigglypuff and this Clefairy came from the Pokewalker accessory, and they came specifically from the Nighttime's Edge course that is only unlockable if you transfer a Jirachi to the Pokewalker. You get the Jirachi from a GameCube game, and I'll get to that in a little bit, but that's where this Clefairy and Jigglypuff need to come from to prove that you've played the Pokewalker game. Tentacool is literally really cool. This has come from the Johto region, specifically from Cianwood City. See, there's a way of depositing your Pokemon in Heart Gold and Soul Silver in a way that leaves you completely stranded in Cianwood City without a Pokemon that can surf, and so you get given a Tentacool as a gift, but this was like hidden as an Easter egg for the longest time. People didn't know this for like 20 years, and so this is that Tentacool. Notice that my Kangaskhan has a little Pokemon Go logo at the top there. That's because this Kangaskhan, Mr. Mime, Farfetch'd, and Tauros all came from Pokemon Go. These are the original Pokemon from Pokemon Go that were location-based and depended on what part of the world you're in. You've been able to obtain them over time in a number of different ways, but it's just kind of a nod to that Pokemon Go is about traveling and exploring. Is specific. It's not just any old Gengar from the Sinnoh region. This is what I was talking about why you'll need the physical cartridge. If you put your GBA cartridge into the bottom of your Nintendo DS or DS Lite as you're playing Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum, and you go into the old Chateau, you're able to encounter a Gengar, and this is that Gengar. This is a special Gengar. Again, we're just playing with all the mechanics of Pokemon as best we can. I've just realized why there's a gap here in my Pokedex. It's because this is Ponyta, because this Ponyta is going to be the guaranteed shiny Ponyta that's given to you in Pokemon Legends Arceus. That's where this belongs. That's why I've left a little slot there. That's cool. See, look at forward-thinking me. Similarly, you'll notice my Gyarados is a red Gyarados, and my Dratini is also shiny. That's because there's a guaranteed shiny Gyarados in Virtual Console Gold, Silver, Crystal, and Dratini is a guaranteed shiny in Pokemon White too. These give Pokemon that are part of the main game, they're going to take up these slots. Similarly, we've got Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno. In this instance, I wanted to encourage people to play Fire Red, Leaf Green to their fullest and get the most out of the features that are exclusive to Fire Red and Leaf Green. I definitely held up a copy of Fire Red, Leaf Green earlier when I meant Emerald. It doesn't matter. For that reason, your legendary birds, Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno should come from these games, specifically because Moltres is only found in the Sevi Islands, which is exclusive to this game. However, we can't leave Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee out of the mix now, can we? So therefore, your Mewtwo, which is the main boss of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, should come from the Let's Go games. In Pokemon Sword and Shield, if you have save data for an Eevee, you get gifted a special Eevee with the ability to Gigantamax. I believe that your Eevee in your Pokedex should be this Eevee. And I know you might be thinking, well, what about Pikachu and the save data for Let's Go Pikachu? In my opinion, the Battle Revolution Pikachu is so much harder, that should be the priority, so I'm not going to include that Gigantamax Pikachu in this challenge. Additionally, the Dragonite is one of the hardest Pokemon to get in Pokemon Gale of Darkness. You only get it for catching every Shadow Pokemon, so Dragonite should come from XD Gale of Darkness. And then finally, there is Mew. There are actually several ways to get Mew now in the games of Pokemon. You can get it from Pokemon Go, you get it gifted in your Pokeball Go Plus, and you're able to get it if you have save data of Pokemon Go on your Switch when playing Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. I'm not going to include the one from Pokemon Go, but I know a lot of people take issue with the Pokeball Go Plus and getting Mew from here, so I'm also going to include the feature from Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, in which if you've got save data of Let's Go on your Switch, you can get a Mew from there as well. So either from Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl or the Pokeball Go Plus. Oh, and also Scyther and Pinsir, they should both come in the Sport Ball, which means they've come from the bug catching contest in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. They're just like the rarest Pokemon you can catch in the bug catching contest, and the Sport Ball is a pretty unique Pokeball. 10 minutes in and we're only just getting to the end of Kanto. Right, let's speed through the rest of the regions, and they do get, so the requirements get shorter as we get through the regions. Quill, Totodile, and Chikorita, there's two really interesting ways to get hold of these starters. Number one is by completing your National Pokedex in Pokemon Emerald. If you complete your National Dex, Birch will give you one of these starters, but also completing Mount Battle allows you to access these starters. So at least one of your Johto starters must have come from either completing the National Dex or completing Mount Battle. There is a reward for getting all three of your starters from these methods, but that I will get to a little bit later on. Speaking of the GameCube games, Togetic is like the last shadow Pokemon that you get in Pokemon Colosseum, so Togetic must come from Pokemon Colosseum. In Pokemon Black and White 2, there is a really wild trading quest, and it's a different trading quest depending on the version in the post-game, where you make a call with an NPC, and they'll trade different Pokemon with you. And the Pokemon that I want you to get from this trading quest are a Teddiursa and a Phanpy. The Phanpy comes from a character called Curtis, and the Teddiursa from a character called Yancey. If you can trade for these Pokemon, that's where your Phanpy and Teddiursa should be coming from. Trust me, it forces you to play the whole game. These are very obscure Phanpys and Teddiursas. Newly introduced into the challenge, I'm also going to add the Sudowoodo from the Battle Frontier. It's a static encounter in Pokemon Emerald, but given that Emerald is the only game with a Battle Frontier and Sudowoodo is the overworld encounter there, your Sudowoodo must come from Pokemon Emerald, specifically the Battle Frontier, nowhere else. Lugia must be Lugia from Gale of Darkness, and your Ho-Oh from Pokemon Colosseum. It's the big reward at the end of Mount Battle after purifying all the Shadow Pokemon. And your Celebi must come from Virtual Console Crystal. It can't come from Pokemon Go. It has to be Virtual Console Crystal, because that's the thing that makes Virtual Console Crystal really, really cool. There are actually only 4 Pokemon in Hoenn that are considered exceptions. There is a Glalie that is obtainable via the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire demo that is, again, downloadable on the eShop for free right now, but in a year it will be potentially gone forever, so make sure you download it now. And your Glalie must be from that demo. Rayquaza, on the other hand, doesn't actually need to come from Hoenn at all. It should actually come from Heart Gold or Soul Silver. As a result of completing the Pokedex in each, you get access to a Groudon and a Kyogre, and then if you trade them to the same console, you get access to Rayquaza. It's a very cool Rayquaza. You want to be getting it from Heart Gold, Soul Silver. And Jirachi, just like Mew that I mentioned earlier, if you have save data on your Switch of Pokemon Sword and Shield, you can get a Jirachi for free in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. But I actually don't like this at all. I think it kind of flies in the face of the spirit of the challenge. With Mew, it's an exception because I know people don't like the Pokeball Go Plus thing, but actually for the sake of this challenge, Jirachi, it still has to come from Pokemon Channel if you're in Europe, and if you're anywhere else in the world, it's the Pokemon Colosseum bonus disc. And you're going to need that anyway because you need to transfer it to Gen 4 so you can do the Pokewalker stuff. Finally, Deoxys is the inclusion of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, as it's now obtainable in the Delta episode. Moving on to Sinnoh. Now, do you remember how earlier on I mentioned the shiny Dratini from Pokemon White 2? Well, in Pokemon Black 2, you get a shiny Gible. So your Gibble's gotta be that Pokemon. Oh, I gotta get onto this part of games. Both Electivire and Magmortar are actually catchable via Pokemon Battle Revolution, so your Electivire and Magmortar have to come from there. Now, there's also been a talk about Alpha Pokemon with Pokemon Legends Arceus. People really wanted me to include Alpha Pokemon in some way, and so I decided there is an Alpha Pokemon at the beginning and end of the story that you have to encounter. There's a Kricketune and a Vespiquen. This Kricketune and this Vespiquen, they have to be those Alpha Pokemon. That's just my way of including them in the game, and I actually think there's so many other interesting ways of including Legends Arceus into the challenge. For example, Spiritomb. There's a whole side quest for Spiritomb, and I think that the Spiritomb in your Pokedex for Pokemon Home must be this one from Legends Arceus. But then again, I think the way that you got Spiritomb in the original Diamond Pearl and actually in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is also really, really cool. So I'm going to make a compromise. With Spiritomb, it can come from any of these places, as long as it's from Sinnoh or Hisui, obtained by the Odd Keystone in the Hollow Tower, or the side quest for Spiritomb in Legends Arceus. Any of these Spiritombs will do for your Pokedex. They are all equally cool in different ways. Previously, I had said that Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina should all come from the Dream Radar side game for for the Nintendo DS, which again is one that you should download now while you can, because once it's gone, it's gone. You obtain these legendary Pokemon by having the Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum like cartridges in your DS while playing the Dream Radar, but I'm actually of the belief now that just Giratina is fine, and that's because your Dialga and Palkia should come from Pokemon Legends Arceus. And I know you're like, well, I can get both in one run through. I want to see both Dialga and Palkia being caught in the Origin Ball. Yep, this is a hardcore challenge. And actually, now with both Legends Arceus and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, we also have access to consistent mythical Pokemon. Fiona, Manaphy, Shaman, and Darkrai all should come from Pokemon Legends Arceus. But your Arceus? Not from Arceus, from Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. That's where it should come from. Because it's actually harder to get Arceus in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl than it is in Legends Arceus. In Legends Arceus, you get Arceus at the end of the game. In Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, you have to get to the end of the game and then have save data of a completed Legends Arceus where you've got Arceus to get that Arceus. So it's just more hard and encourages you to play BDSP. When it comes to the Unova region, there are a bunch of Pokemon that are available via a side quest called Ends Pokemon. They appear special in battle, and these Ends Pokemon, you should have all of them in replacement for their regular ones. There's a full list available on Cerebi, and of course it's all noted in the spreadsheet. Also, just like how there's a shiny Gible and Dratini in Pokemon Black and White 2, when you finish the game, there is a static encounter for a shiny Haxorus. So this is the final shiny Pokemon that you should absolutely make sure that that is your Haxorus in your LivingDex. The forces of nature, Landorus, Tornadus, and Thundurus, they should all come from the Dream Radar game, because the Dream Radar game is literally all about them. And then finally, there's Keldeo, which is now available via the Crown Tundra DLC. So your Keldeo should come from the Crown Tundra. There's also Victini, which is consistently available in Pokemon Go, so Victini must come from Pokemon Go. At this point, I should mention that after this, mythical Pokemon are not as consistently available as they have been for all of the pre-Gen 5 Pokemon, so any of your mythical Pokemon after this point can come from literally any event that you've managed to get one from. Apart from like one or two more, which I'm going to mention in a moment. Now, the only exception in the Kalos region in Pokemon X and Y is Greninja. Your Greninja should come from the Sun and Moon demo. That's the Ash Greninja. And again, download the Sun and Moon demo now while you can, because in a year, it's going to be gone. And it's free, so you might as well get it. For Pokemon Sun and Moon and Ultra and Ultra Moon, there are a list of totem Pokemon that are actually obtainable, and they're like larger in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, that are transferable to Pokemon Home. Weirdly enough, not all of them are transferable up through Pokemon Bank to Pokemon Home, but the ones that are, they should be your totem, they should be your Pokemon in your Pokedex. As well as that, a mythical Pokemon, Magina, is always available via QR code, so if you use your QR code on Sun, Moon, or Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, you'll get a Magina. Okay, now you might think, that's it, because with Sword and Shield, all of those Pokemon are currently only available in Sword and Shield, but there is one more giant rule that I've missed out, that I've been intentionally hiding from you because I know it's going to upset so many people, but it's one of my favorites. Any Pokemon that is an evolution of a pre-existing Pokemon should come from the region of that pre-existing Pokemon. Let's take Crobat, for example. Crobat is a Johto Pokemon, but it evolves from the Kanto Pokemon Zubat. So your Crobat must come from Virtual Console, Red, Blue, or Yellow. To give you the full list, and I'm going to read this off my screen because I don't want to memorize this, that's Crobat from Kanto, Blossom from Kanto, Palpitoad from Kanto, Slowking from Kanto, Espeon and Umbreon from Kanto. All of these are Virtual Console Kanto, to be absolutely clear. Steelix, Scizor, Kingdra, Porygon 2, and Bellissi, all from Virtual Console Kanto. Magnezone, Licky, Glaceon, Leafeon, and Porygon Z, again, all Virtual Console Kanto. Ambipom, Mismagius, Honch, Crow, Togetic, Yanmega, Gliscor, and Mamoswine all should come from Virtual Console Johto. And Roserade, Gallade, Probopass, Dusknoir, and Frostlass all should come from the original Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, or again, if they re-release a digital version of that on the Switch, they can come from there. Actually, Roserade doesn't count on that list, because its original evolution technically is Badoo, and that's from the Sinnoh region. So I'm going to actually say Roserade is the exception to this rule. Actually, there are some other regions that do this, not just Johto and Sinnoh, but those are the main ones. From the Kalos region, Sylveon, that should come from Virtual Console Red, Blue, Yellow. Again, the way you do this is you simply catch the Eevee in Red, Blue, Yellow, you trade it to a later game that evolution is available in, and then you evolve it there. In Sword and Shield, you have Galarian Mr. Mime, Galarian Mr. Rhyme, and Galarian Weezing. It is my belief that the Galarian Weezing should come from Virtual Console Kanto, and the Galarian Mr. Mime and Galarian Mr. Rhyme should come from the original Sinnoh games, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Again, you just catch yourself some Mime Jr., trade them up, and evolve them. And Hisui's at it now as well, with Cleavor that should be caught from Virtual Console Kanto. Again, you catch the Scyther in the Virtual Console games. You then trade them up, transfer them to Pokemon Home, then into Legends Arceus, evolve it there, and then put it back into Pokemon Home. And similarly, your Weirdeer and Ursaluna should also come from Virtual Console Johto. Okay, Toby, surely that's it. That's going to be all of the rules. We've dealt with all your quirky Pokemon, but no, remember, all of the Pokemon forms are in this as well. Forms and gender variants. So the way that I want to handle forms is if the Pokemon can be considered to have like a base form. Let's take Deoxys, for example, where it's got the normal form, then it's got attack, defense, and speed. The normal form is the one for the Pokedex, and then the attack, defense, and speed are needed in addition to that one. This way you don't need to, for example, have like one Deoxys in the Pokedex and then 4 Deoxys additional as forms. It would just be 3 instead. It makes it a little bit easier. However, where there are Pokemon where there's not a clear normal form, let's take Dealing, for example, you're going to need to get all 4 seasonal Dealings alongside the one that's in your Pokedex. Now, when it comes to forms that actually are Pokemon to note, all of the unknown, I believe, should come from Virtual Console Gold, Silver, Crystal, or Fire Red Leaf Green in the case of the question mark and exclamation mark, because that's the first appearance of those unknown. They weren't in the original games. Or now Legends Arceus, because I also think the Legends Arceus hunting quest for the unknown is also pretty cool. All your Deoxys, and you can see that I've got the base form here, that shouldn't be there, that's part of the update now, this would be gone, but all of your Deoxys, they would come from Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Burmy and Wormadam though, there's no clear like main form, it's just 3 different forms, so all of those from Sinnoh, same with Kalos and Gastrodon. All of the Rotom forms, however, I'm making a special exception for, they should all come from Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. This is because the Rotom Secret Key event that wasn't available in Pokemon Platinum is now available in Brilliant Diamond Shiny Pearl all the time. So all of your Rotom forms, but not including like some kind of base Rotom, you don't need it. The washing machine, the oven, the fridge, the lawnmower, the fan, they all need to come from Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. You'll need 3 Basculin, Red Stripe, Blue Stripe, and then the new Hisuian Basculin as the 4th stripe. The red and blue are going to be from Unova, the white stripe is going to be from Hisui, all of the Dealings and Sawsbuck, again, all from the Unova region. You can see I've got Tornadus, Thundurus, and Landorus, and a space for the Nutherian form of Enamorus. That means you're going to need to catch 2 Enamoruses. And I'm going to remove one of these Keldeo, because I think one is pretty clearly the base form. And it looks like they've now included Shaymin's Sky form in Pokemon Home. This previously would just revert to a normal Shaymin, so now I'm looking for you to have an extra Shaymin. I mentioned earlier that the Deoxys should all come from Oras, but I actually think when it comes to mythical Pokemon like Deoxys, like Shaymin, like Keldeo, like Hooper, they can come from anywhere. You don't need to go out of your way to make sure that the additional Keldeo is from Sword and Shield, Shaymin from Legends Arceus, or Deoxys from Oras. Mythical Pokemon, they can come from anywhere. Vivillon, the Vivillon forms can come from any region, because I think it's too hardcore to expect you to get them all from Kalos. But Flabébé and Floette and Florges, they can all come from Kalos. All the different Pumpkaboo and Gourgeist sizes are the same kind of deal. There's the Zygarde 10% form. That's actually only available in Alola, despite the fact that Zygarde came out in Kalos. So that's going to need to come from the Alola games. Both of your Hoopers, they can come from wherever. They're mythical Pokemon. All of the Oricorios, Lycanrocs, and Miniors have all come from the Alola region. And there's this Magearna that you get in Pokemon Home. If you've done the challenge up to this point, you have a living Pokedex, you'll get given this original colored Magearna at some point. And then we get into the realm of regional variants. So all of these Alolan forms of Pokemon, they've all come from Alola, but there are exceptions. Exeggutor, Marowak, and Raichu. All of these Pokemon, just like evolutions to past Pokemon, have come from the original Virtual Console game that they came from. So this Raichu is from Virtual Console Red, Blue, and Yellow. Then all these other Alolan forms are just from Alola in general. That is not... Oh, this Diglett is the Diglett from the Isle of Armor. Diglett needs to come, your Alolan Diglett needs to come from the Isle of Armor. That is a thing. I forget about that. But then, yeah, all from Alola, and then Exeggutor is from Virtual Console Kanto, as is Marowak. That will carry through to the regional forms and evolutions in Sword and Shield, and in Hisui, and then presumably in Scarlet and Violet. So, for example, when it comes to Sword and Shield, you got your 2 different Toxtricity forms, your 2 different Indeedee forms. You've got the different Sinistea forms based on the authentic cup and the authentic pot and the non-authentic pot. Then you've got the Darumaka, and you've got all your regional versions, all your regional Pokemon. But as I mentioned earlier, Galarian Mr. Mime, despite the fact that it's not a new Pokemon, it's still just a Mr. Mime. That's actually come from the original Sinnoh games, or it should have done. This one, I haven't done it. See, I'm falling behind. This channel is hardcore. This challenge is hardcore. All of the various Alchemy forms, then all of the DLC form variants of Pokemon, not just up to Articuno, Slowpoke, Slowbro, and Slowking, all from the Crown Tundra and Isle of Armor. There is this Ashcap Pikachu. There are lots of Ashcap Pikachus, but this one is always available via a QR code. So if you just look up that QR code, you'll be able to get it from the Alola region. I told you, we're really going for everything. And actually, with the gender variants here, there are 2 new gender variants of Sneasel that appear in Hisui and Basculegion. So both of those would go into the Pokedex here as well. By the way, you don't have to have them in the same order as me or anything like that. There are a couple of other little extras. We have a Haxorus that has come from Unova, a Gyarados that has come from Kalos, that should be from Kanto, a Gibble that's come from the Sinnoh region, Dratini from Virtual Console Kanto, and Ponyta from Virtual Console Kanto. That's where the Gyarados should have come from. These are to make up for the guaranteed shiny Pokemon that appear earlier on in the Pokedex, and if you can do it using various glitches, 2 forms of matching Spinder. It's a very rare thing to happen. Obviously, you can't get all the Spinder forms, so getting 2 matching is pretty cool, and there are ways of, like, glitching the game to get that. You don't have to do that, though. It's just kind of a dumb extra. Of course, when it comes to the new Pokemon introduced in Pokemon Legends Arceus, we have Typhlosion. This Typhlosion will actually need to come from Virtual Console Johto. This Decidueye will need to come from the Alola region. This Samurott from the Unova region. We have Hisui and Growlithe and Arcanine from Hisui. Hisui and Braviary will need to come from the Unova region. Voltorb and Electrode, they are all from Hisui. Hisui and Lilligant would come from the Unova region. Hisui and Avalugg would come from the Kalos region, because that's where Bergamite was introduced. Same deal with Sliggoo and Goodra, actually. We've got the Hisuian versions of Zorua and Zoroark. They're from here, from Hisui. Quillfish is the... This version of Quillfish also needs to come from Hisui and would enter the form decks. Same with Sneasel. This, you can't get it from Johto. This Sneasel needs to come from Hisui. There is one other form, and it's one that I don't have, and it's all the different Furfrows. Currently, all of the different Furfrou forms, if you transfer them into Pokemon Bank or Pokemon Home, they, like, revert back to just regular normal Furfrou. Apart from if you get them via Pokemon Go. I'm hoping this changes in Scarlet and Violet, and if Scarlet and Violet comes out and that you have the ability to trim your Furfrou, then that will be the version. But for now, from Pokemon Go, all your different Furfrou. Of course, when Scarlet and Violet come out, anything that is new in that game, catch it, add it into your LivingDex, and make sure you've got it. And if there are any regional evolutions, like the Alola Marowak, Hisuian Samurott, or Galarian Mr. Rhyme, then again, look to where's the base evolution from and try and catch that. All of that is the Pokemon Home Master Challenge. However, there are 2 more things you can do if you want to take this challenge to the next level. There are Gold Stars, and there are Ghost Stars. The Gold Stars are pretty exceptional challenges, but this video is getting kind of long, and I don't really want to go into details about stuff that really hasn't changed since the challenge started. These are phenomenally rare Pokemon, like the Manaphy from Pokemon Ranger. They're not necessarily readily available for everyone. There's a full list of those in the spreadsheet. There is also the Ghost Star, which exists as a response to the question I know many of you have probably already typed in the comments. Imagine getting all of these in shiny. If you get all of these in shiny, well done. You've won the Ghost Star. And it's called the Ghost Star because this challenge is long. It should take you a whole generation of Pokemon and playing Pokemon games to be able to compile this Pokedex. The Ghost Star? You're not gonna do it in your lifetime. You'll be dead by the time you do that. So it's the Ghost Star. Under all of these conditions, getting shiny Pokemon? No way. I'll believe that when I see it. Although, I know lots of people have made good progress, and you can compare your progress against others in the updated spreadsheet, which is, again, linked in the description. And if you need help and tips and tricks on how to do different portions of this challenge, or you want to get a clearer idea, head on over to the community Discord, again, linked in the description. I'm going to give a huge shout out to the community there, but particularly to Mythical Man Joe, who's constantly been helping with this challenge, literally since its inception, is the creator of the spreadsheet and really is kind of the other authority on this topic. And before I go, I want to say one thing. This may be the last time in Pokemon's history ever going forward that a challenge like this is possible. The idea of this challenge was, wouldn't it be cool if I had a living Pokedex, but my Ho-Oh was the one from Colosseum and my Manaphy was the one from Pokemon Ranger? And then I thought about the fact that you can play Pokemon Colosseum today and you can get that Ho-Oh if you start a new account any day for the rest of time. But when it comes to Manaphy from Pokemon Ranger, you're only allowed one per copy. This makes it a more limited resource, and that's why it's a gold star. However, with the 3DS eShop closing down, and this is why I'm encouraging you to download the software now, to buy these games now if you think you're going to want them, these softwares will disappear. And sure, maybe one day Virtual Console Red, Blue, and Yellow will come back 3 consoles down the line, re-released onto the Virtual Console of whatever is out then. But right now, if we get to the point where the Pokemon Bank servers shut down, which right now there's no intentions for that, if we get to that point, it's going to cut off generations of Pokemon. I suspect this might be the last time I can do this challenge in this way, and so I submit it to you. I give you from now until the sort of release of Generation 10, every Pokemon, every form, every regional variant, every gender variant, all of them obtained in the most convoluted way possible that forces you to play every single Pokemon game right to the end and claim the prizes of all of it. It is very achievable, it is doable, it sounds like a lot, but it is actually very doable. I challenge you. Are you up to the challenge for potentially this one last time? Good luck, and of course, soar high, Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master!
As always, a massive thank you to those of you who support this channel on Patreon. You make this channel possible, and a special thank you to the big patrons of this month, the Elgator, Jed Rubin, and Michael Hornshoe. Thank you.